Okay, so you have this great thing in your book where if you do look in your refrigerator and you see that wilted spinach in there, you can go to your book and there's a page with commonly, foods that are commonly tend to go bad in the fridge because they're not used, and you give the recipe pages of where they can find delicious recipes to use those foods. So, what are some of the most commonly wasted foods? And can you just give us an example? And I'm going to ask you for a lot of examples because I want people to hear about all the amazing foods that I throw away that would never think to make anything out of them. So give us a couple tips of the most commonly wasted food, what you do with them.
Yeah, I've got a ton of tips up my sleeve that I think your listeners will love. So, shockingly, the number one most wasted food is bread. And I think it's just because we buy so much bread in the US and Canada, and it goes bad quite quickly. So it can go hard. And so if you buy a fresh baguette or a loaf of sourdough, or maybe you make your own sourdough and it goes hard, what I want you to do with it is throw it into a food processor or blender, grind it up with some parsley, nutritional yeast, maybe a little salt, and bake it. And you have amazing breadcrumbs, homemade breadcrumbs, just like that. Another thing you can do with bread is I love to make a French toast casserole. So vegan, of course. So we use a yogurt, plant-based milk kind of custard, add the bread in there, rehydrate it, pop it in the oven, and it is just so delicious. If we're going to move to the scrappy side of things, the number one I like to tell people, because almost everybody throws this out, is broccoli stems.
Oh my God, there's such a pet peeve when I go into the store. And then unfortunately, where I live, the broccoli crowns, I don't know, that's basically the stems have been thrown away by the store, right? Right? I mean, I don't know. What do they do with them? I feel better buying the crowns, but they're not organic. So I have to buy and I scour looking for the stems that are the least stalky looking, you know? It's not only because I have to pay for them, which is so irritating.
Yeah, so if you're paying for broccoli stems by weight, it is so nonsensical to throw that away because they can be very delicious. So you peel off the outer edge, which is like very fibrous, going to be hard to eat. And then what you'll be left with is the inner stalk. And you can slice that into just like broccoli fries, pop them into the oven, and they taste almost reminiscent of asparagus. But a couple of recipes I have in my book, I have a whole bunch of broccoli stem recipes, but one of them is summer rolls. So I love to make fresh spring rolls. And instead of matchstick carrots, I'll slice up broccoli stem like really thinly and roll them up in fresh spring rolls. I have a great green goddess soup recipe in the book that you can just throw the whole stem in there into the blender and you're good to go. And at the end of the day, if you don't know what the heck to do with it, you're making a broccoli stir fry, you can just chop up that broccoli stem, throw it right in. And I promise you, once you try it, you'll never be composting or throwing out the stems again. It's incredible. Third one I want to talk about are your greens. So we've got carrot tops, radish tops, beet leaves. If you're somebody who likes spinach, you like kale, you're a greens eater, which anybody listening to this podcast and is plant-based probably eats their greens. It makes no sense to throw these away. They're super nutrient dense, all three of those, the radish top, beet leaves, and carrot tops. And if you don't know what to do with them, you can throw them in a salad, first of all. But another thing you can do, I have this great recipe in my new book called Scrappy Pesto. And it again is what I call a kitchen raid recipe. So something where you can interchange greens or ingredients to what you have on hand. So you say you have radish tops, you add a whole bunch of radish tops to a blender, you add some basil if you have it on hand, cashews or sunflower seeds, nutritional yeast, a little bit of sea salt and garlic, blend that up. And I'm telling you, this makes an amazing pesto pasta sauce. It makes an amazing dip, a drizzle over a sheet pan recipe. Just incredible. So that's another big tip. I think a lot of people I hear throw their greens away. So make a sauce instead because it will love you and help you save money as well.
Yeah, it's probably their extremely healthy parts of the plant that we throw away.